do is get picked on, and so everything is
You're a run, as you say, but you're also 3 people at this point, right?
yeah,
Or 2 people.
yeah.
So, first of all, what's it like being young, having this this mental, it's DID that we're discussing here.
Right. Multiple personality.
How do you not end up going Hulk, having like these Hulk moments of rage where
Oh no, I did. I was kicked out of the first school because right after that event where my father humiliated me,
yeah.
some kid was humiliating me in class, and I took flesh out of his arm.
Okay. So you're manifesting your rage now
Yeah.
when you're being treated like this by someone who isn't your father. You
Right.
are now, okay, so there is a limit and a line for you.
Yep.
And you've accepted almost that this abuse can come from this individual who you idolize. But if
Correct.
it's coming from the outside, then vengeance will be dealt. So I'm
Yeah.
going to be quiet again, Joe. I'm sorry. I'm a
Oh,
chatty
no,
boy.
you're fine. No, you captured
We're,
it greatly. Or
we're in the school. This moment has happened where you've had this altercation.
yeah.
Has
Broke the arm.
the abuse started at this point with the teacher yet, or is that
No, this is
no?
where I get introduced to the teacher.
Right. Okay.
So I have a tutor, right? And so this is the funny part. I failed PE in the 9th grade because I didn't show up, right?
Yeah,
But
that's the only way you can for PE. It's the only way.
so I had a tutor, and one of them was Tim Stambaugh, and he came along and he took an interest in me, and he's like, "Come along over and let's play Dungeons and Dragons." And so my first time over at his house, I was babysitting his son. And I recall this because these are the 2 first moments. The microwave hot dog, my first microwave hot dog. Oh my God, it was so delicious, right? That bun when it kind of just it just first microwave experience, right? Then I get to listen to the Doobie Brothers on headphones for the first time, headphones, right? And I mean, it's just dreamland, right? Just so much immense emotional stuff. And so he comes home drunk and with a cigar smell or pipe smell, and he's like, "Let's get in the waterbed." And so he's like, "Well, go ahead and take it off." And so it started out with the massage, and then all of a sudden it didn't. And the next recall I have was vomiting in a trash can. And so,
And this is your teacher has
yeah,
led you back to his home,
yeah,
where effectively he's doing the modern day take on grooming, where he's
yeah,
it's music at this stage. And I imagine it's when you've got an abuser who's giving you niceties that go along with it, and then you've got this abuse that's going on at home. How does that work its way into a fractured 7-year-old's mind? I mean,
I just lived there. I just lived in Rochelle.
right.
I just lived there, right? Joey rarely came out, and when he did, it was it, he was just so excited to get out, right? And that scares people because I mean he was a 7-year-old feral child, right? He was a 7-year-old feral child up until like 4 years ago. Um,
Do you
and
think
so
that your alters were women because of the sexual abuse?
some of it, yes. So one of it was my father encouraged me to dress in women's clothing. That
Wow.
was one thing. And then the other part of that founded into that both of my sisters were beautiful and blonde and well endowed, right? And so there built a jealousy in there, right? So I wasn't Joe anymore. I was, you know, my sister's brother, right? And so the conversations, oh, you're her brother, right? And she has really nice, women parts, right? And that's how the conversations went. So again, I got completely went out, and so I created a personality that wanted to go. I wanted to be a male stripper in a gay bar. I didn't want to have gay sex or gay men, but I wanted that attention, right?
No, it's interesting because on your website, and it makes sense now, and I'm just going to read this to you. As a child, I dreamed of being a master storyteller for Penthouse Forum, right?
Yeah.
Just that one sentence. I read that and I stopped reading it. I'm like, right, I'm going to wait. And I'm going to wait until that makes sense to me during this whole conversation. And it's quite sad when you think about the normalization of adult material to a young boy, that at that age, you are fantasizing about
A grown woman who's what it's basically saying is, come, I'll connect with you and make you whole, right? And
yeah.
so we take this image and we apply it to make it made to make me whole, right? And that's so I mean, all I did was live in a fantasy.
Well, this is it. It is a completely orchestrated reality of this immoral image of a father that is imposing his sordid reality on his child. It is God tendency, it's narcissism, it is, and you know what? It's such a next level because
Oh no, we haven't got to the next level yet.
okay, right, let's keep all right. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm sorry, everybody, again. I just this it's hard when it's a story
Yeah,
like this.
no.
So
We
you're
got two more next levels.
you're at the teacher's place and this abuse has started.
Well, and
And
so the massage was great, right? Because I never get touched, right? And so I'm naked, oil all my body, a man's touching me, right? I'm not thinking of anything other than, wow, this feels amazing, right? And so
sure,
I remember when it split because there's a sound that I can make of how he massaged me differently than anybody else that will send me right there. But now
okay,
I have the tools to work with it, right? I don't live
sure,
in the emotional state of what happened. And that's what PTSD and CPTSD are, is that you just learn to live in that state. And I've because of this, I've integrated and separated and healed, right? So I've been able to heal separate parts at a time and then integrate them healthily, however that's said, into Joseph, right? To me. Um, I
sure.
still have a committee, right? But I'm in charge now. So I'm just aware of it. Before I was never aware of it. I had no idea. And the first time that it became um, apparent was the first time that I went to summer camp. And I didn't understand it then, but I could look back and I'm like, holy shit, right? I mean, there was an incident where I'm crying up in the corner because somebody accused me of stealing the electronic football game, right? And I don't recall stealing that electronic football game. So I'm up there crying. But I go through and do EMDR and I'm like, oh shit, she took it. Rochelle took that football game. She was jealous and wanted to play it because no one would let her play. So she
Right.
took it and did it, right? And I had no memory of this, right?
Of course.
I don't recall either one. And so the energy to transfer between these two are just it's this tsunami of energy and to recover. And now at an old age, I mean, when I recover from a switch, it's days, right? It's 2 days of just of emotional recovering. Thank God I rarely get there. So um, we have a babysitter. I'm 14 now, and she's 18. And I can't prove this, but I think she was paid a little extra. I could be wrong. This is subjection here. Um, but about the fifth time babysitting, all of a sudden, she had a list of naughty things that I had done, and she came into my bedroom and said, "You need to pay for these naughty things, or I'm going to tell your parents." And so she started requiring me to give her sexual favors, like kissing her or touching her lady parts. Um, and then it progressed a little bit more, and in hiding it's one thing, but here's where it gets a little bit weird: is the last night that she babysits, my parents okay for me to sleep in my sister's bedroom on the floor where my sister and the babysitter are sleeping together in the same bed. So now I'm laying on the floor molesting or being molested by this 18-year-old girl. I'm prepubescent, right, with my sister laying next door, and my father's got the door open watching.
Okay.
We're still not even there yet.
So we're 14. Is there any possible way, looking back, Joel, from a different mindset, was this possibly like a runaway girl?
No. She was
Trouble
3 doors down. No. She lived 3 doors down from our house. No. I was her sister and I were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay. So you're 14. You think that possibly there's like a rite of passage backhander being given by your father here, which is clearly again to facilitate the next stage. Have your sisters ever spoken about anything about your
They
father putting hands on
they
them?
well, my family it's weird. My family has put one pedophile to death and protects 2.
And we'll get to that fun chapter of the story soon, Joe. So you're 14, you've got this babysitter who is abusing you,
Yep.
and you're now
I loved it, mind you. So that's the piece it's hard to when you enjoy it, it's hard to separate the abuse of it, right?
yeah, it's if you were a 14-year-old girl and this was an 18-year-old male babysitter, it's a very different story, Joe, right?
Exactly.
It's a
Yep.
bit like there was a comedian that done a whole stand-up set about how if it was Mrs. Weinstein and all the
Right.
victims were guys and you had to bang Mrs. Weinstein to get the new Batman role, every freaking dad is telling his son to suck it up and get the job done and get that bat suit.
Right.
But let's just be honest here. Regardless of whether you were having a good time, you were being abused.
Yeah. Oh no, it was abuse. No,
Okay.
it
Now,
confused me on the
obviously, in the world of 14-year-old Joe, who at 7 was being forced to dress up in women's clothing, being susceptible to alcohol, adult material, and his father exposing to him, this seems like a freaking brilliant alternative to that, Joe. Like, if it was a choice between 14 years old and the babysitter or going back to rubbing your dad's feet, so you're now trapped in this world where it's the normal things that a man and a woman are meant to do, obviously when they're of the right age, that's being put upon you, and that's obviously a natural thing you're going to be drawn to. You're a young man, she's a woman, but it was to further facilitate and normalize the next stage of your father's plan, which you're now sleeping on your sister's floor.
Yep.
Your sister, did you say was your sister was being involved with the babysitter?
No, she was just sleeping in the bed, right? It was my sister, the babysitter, and me, right?
Wow.
And my dad's looking in through the window door. Yeah.
What the hell was going through the babysitter's head? Like, would you think there was a fear and coercion?
I
I mean,
don't know. She was fully in it. Look, I don't know why she spent the night. She lived 3 doors down. She walked
right?
home 3 minutes is what it took. So none of that made any sense. Why there was no need for her to spend the night, no matter what time it
Do you
was.
think
Walk
maybe she
home.
was fixated with your father? You think it was like the
Oh no,
Howard?
my father has been fixated with any woman that I've ever been involved with. Oh
All right,
yeah.
Joe, I'm going to shop again. I'm going to shop again. So we're up to the part in the bedroom. Your dad's watching at the door.
Yeah.
Carry on, Joe. Carry on.
So in comes me being the babysitter, and Tim Stambaugh does his essay to me. The funerals that I used to go to. Now, 14, my father has involved me in all kind of really adult subject matters that I should never have been involved with. Now, my good friend, they found this young girl in his orange grove. And a week prior, a young 9, 10-year-old girl was riding her bike to school and was picked up by a twice convicted pedophile. And he was in a different state and picked her up, took her out to the orange grove, attempted to essay. And for whatever reason, she decided to fight back and took a pencil and tried to stop him. And it didn't end successfully for her. He ended up taking a concrete block and ending her life with it.
Okay, wait. Just say that again, Joe.
My neighbor's daughter was on her way to school. A twice convicted pedophile was out of prison, had already served his time, was sitting in his truck on the side of the road when this young girl rode her bicycle by him. He
And is this
snatched
a babysitter or is this a different girl?
This is I don't even know her, right?
This is a totally different girl. That's fine.
This is
Okay.
just my community. We live in a really
Yeah,
small,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
right?
Okay, this
So
is the next.
my dad is the local minister.
Yep.
Okay, so she ends up missing, and so my father starts getting involved with the family at this point. Um, a week later, they find her body in my friend's orange grove. My father comes and gets me out of high school, takes me with him to this family's house. We walk inside. I'm standing in the foyer where my sister now still lives, and watched the sheriff and my father explain to them that their daughter's body had been found. I'm 14. I'm watching a neighbor I've never known be told that their daughter had just been murdered and they found her body. I'm witnessing the sheer
And what
just
was her name? The little girl?
um
Was it
her,
Alyssa?
Alyssa was her name. I'd prefer not to. I don't want to bring the family into this because they
Yeah,
would think you're too much trauma, right?
yeah. Because this was
Um,
a massive case. This
yeah,
little girl. This, I
yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
sent me a link, and it is absolutely horrifying what this man done.
yep. And what he put
And
the family through. Well, the judicial system put the family through. Really is the truth. I
yeah,
blame Alabama, right? I mean, he should have never gotten out after the first time. I mean, or the second time, especially.
yeah, and
And so,
it's kind of twisted when a monster like that is caged and set free. And let's be honest as well, the time when this all happened, it's mindsets have shifted so much
correct. Yeah.
since then.
Yes.
And I mean, I was in the Scouts and the Cubs in the 80s and 90s. I never seen anything weird, but it was definitely there was that one odd scout leader that you definitely stayed away from.
Right.
But society's not that is just there's nothing we do not condone that now.
No.
And it's fascinating when it's culture of the time that allows any form of crime, whether it's Dahmer and how the police felt about homosexuals and things like this.
I
It's
mean,
it's
there
always
used to be a register for homosexuals, right? I mean,
right,
right? I mean, that's
right. It's crazy, man. And I'm going to shut up again. Sorry, I'm going to be quiet.
yeah,
This poor girl's body's been found. This
yeah,
major case. And again, it seems like a Netflix series where we have the town pastor in this small town who is himself a monster and a degenerate, and he has these tentacles, one round his own son, one round the girl 3 doors down, his unwitting daughters who are asleep while you're being abused. It is a twisted tale, and now we have the manifestation of a two-time convicted PDF file who has committed an atrocious murder of a little girl that it just so happens has ended up in the back garden orange grove of your friends.
right. And so I never knew this family before that day. And from that day forward, we were enmeshed and still are enmeshed. My sister married the brother. Um, and for the next 4 years, my father counseled the parents, and I went over with my father while he took them to the church, and me and the son, the brother, hung out nearly 4 days a week. Right. And so here I am living, working with my friend is now a boy who just had his sister murdered, right? And I'm getting to see all of this. He starts taking me to the court cases, right? He starts taking me to the courtrooms. But this is where it gets really sick, right?
Okay.
Because my father will tell you, and he takes 100% credit, and I give it to him for the execution of that man. He created an organization called Love, League of Victim and Empathizers. And the cover of it was really good because what the judicial system did to this family was horrific. I mean, just horrific. Had the man sit across the chair from the table from the man who killed his daughter. Could you imagine sitting across from the table who murdered your daughter? My God, man. Just, and so they made some amazing and great changes. However, on my 18th birthday, we had this massive party. And it wasn't for me going into the service, and it wasn't for my 18th birthday. That was the day that the Florida Supreme Court upheld his execution. Now, they went through handfuls of appeals. And on April 13th, 2013, they executed him. They had a party outside the prison. They had 2 busloads. My father brought him out, my sister, and sat in there and watched the man die. Said he just went to sleep. And so while I'm sitting in the car, because my father took me everywhere with him, he would just hound on me about how much he loved this little girl in her fight, that she stabbed him in the neck with a pencil, right? He loved that. And this is what I heard over and over and over, just how much he loved this little girl for doing that, right? And so I had another personality come out of this, right? And so here he is, a preacher talking about turn the other cheek and all of this stuff. And I'm like, well, who in the hell are you, right? You don't even practice what you're preaching here. And so I just took up this biblical fighter against my father and started researching and understanding what caused pedophilia as a teenager, right? I'm investigating and learning and understanding what causes people to do these horrific things, right? Because it's just forced down my throat. And so either I have to get on board with the execution, right? I think there are better, different ways, right? I mean, just lock them up, don't let them out, right? There's some people that just aren't fixable. I'm sorry to say that. They just are. And so I had an unhealthy obsession with fighting the death penalty, and it transferred to one of my children, who went on to get a master's degree as a public defender against the death penalty. That's how. So my father put a man to death. I argued him, and my daughter now is stopping him or attempting to. So that's one other little chapter of my childhood. Now we're going to go to the last and the ugliest one, is why I'm willing to come out here and speak what I'm speaking today. There's many reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. I tried to resolve this amicably internally. However, when I discovered, and I just discovered this, that my father was the guardian of this 80-year-old widow that I was forced to go on dates with as a 16-year-old. There's friggin' pictures of it. So
16 years old, and he's the guardian of an 80-year-old, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's her legal guardian. I didn't know that until 2 years ago. And that's when I discovered.
Is this part of the widow whispering?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Oh, dude, man, he was really good with the widows. I mean, he really was, right?
But that's where she fits into this. It's from that whole
right. And so she had a lot of money, and there was no family, right? I'm 16. She liked me, right? And so here's my son. Do with him what you want, right? I mean, you
were getting pimped, man. You were getting pimped out for that will. You were getting pimped out for that bag. That is wild.
And so that is why I'm willing to share my story to the world, is because of that behavior. Because up until then, I might be able to say they did the best that they could, but up when they had legal guardianship and then used their child for financial gain, no. So now here's where the twist comes into, right? Which is where I've ended up, which is I've created a new psychological disorder, which is called maternal enmeshment trauma disorder. Um, and it comes out of mother son um, inappropriate bonding. And it's different layers of what I call parentification. Yeah, go
Just
ahead.
to be clear, we are. I'm just going to say this once for the algorithm. You're talking about incest, right? On
That-
a spectrum, right? It's